I am absolutely going to testify. I won't even say his name. He is an evil being, and it's going to pay. I think that I was just, living in this shame, living in all this sort of stuff of my past, and I wasn't able to move on. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second.
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time.
This Diddy trial isn't just court drama anymore. It's detonating secrets you never thought would see the light of day, ripping through Hollywood's shiny facade with a force nobody predicted. Forget the gossip blogs and the usual celebrity mess. We're talking federal courtrooms, unheard audio, leaked whispers painting disturbing pictures, and a tidal wave of old footage dragging major names into the mud. The internet's practically on fire, streets are buzzing, and the people involved are definitely sweating, questioning every single choice they ever made. So what exactly just happened that sent shockwaves this big? After weeks of the prosecution laying out a story of alleged abuse, those infamous parties, and iron-fisted control, the whole thing took a hard, unexpected swerve. Court insiders and leaks aren't focused on just the testimony anymore. They're fixated on audio recordings, and these aren't just casual conversations. We're talking about allegedly raw, explicit tapes that reportedly feature Diddy alongside Will Smith and Meek Mill. Yeah, this isn't just fleeting Twitter noise. This is reportedly being played in open court, causing absolute stunned silence. Most people saw that hotel lobby video a few days ago and figured the visual told the whole story. No sound, just the unsettling images. But sources deep inside the legal proceedings are claiming that behind closed doors, the corresponding audio was played, and the impact was allegedly immediate and heavy. Phones were banned, journalists couldn't record, just pure heavy silence fell over the room. One person who was reportedly there described the clip as undeniably graphic, something horrific, the kind of thing that makes a room freeze because you instinctively know you've just heard something deeply serious and wrong. But that wasn't even the end of the bombshells dropping that day.
Do you think the person that the you of then was on a path of self-destruction?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure, 100%. Yeah. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. I don't know if I'd be alive, for sure. It was dark. So I'm very, very grateful to have influences in my life that have played a huge part in me seeing their relationship with Jesus and their relationship with their wives and their relationship with their kids and saying that's what I want. But I want to definitely tell my story so that if that resonates to anybody, that they can hopefully. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and
I feel violated right now. Wow.
Just lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that was bad.
Yeah.
Wow, look at your eyes. Yeah, look at what a beautiful...
Bieber turned 15, and it suddenly seemed that Hollywood was keen to almost initiate him. I think that's the right word. Like there was almost like this initiation that he needed to go through. So I want you to be now super uncomfortable and watch this video of an interaction between him and none other than Diddy. Take a listen.
Justin, you ever seen the movie For the Times of Their Lives? Like, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full
Young Justin Bieber, who was signed by Usher, involved with Scooter Braun. Now all of a sudden he's being put in the hands of Diddy, who, it is true, he became the legal guardian for Usher. You can look up all of the allegations of what Diddy did. The allegations are essentially that Diddy very much initiated Usher. As we are going through these lawsuits and Diddy is in prison, we are recognizing that everybody knew. This was an open secret about what Diddy was doing. So it just begs the question, who allowed Justin Bieber to be in the presence of this man, knowing what he was up to, allegedly up to? That seems to be very clear.
Right after this alleged audio playback, a list of new witnesses was announced. And these weren't just random people chasing clout or looking for a headline. We're talking about former bad boy artists, ex-staff members, individuals who were allegedly deep in Diddy's inner circle, who toured with him, partied at his legendary mansions. These are people who supposedly saw things firsthand, who might have stayed silent for years, maybe out of fear or loyalty, but who are now reportedly ready to talk under legal protection. One name that surfaced was Dawn Richard. You might remember her from Danity Kane, one of Diddy's former girl groups. She reportedly testified recently and was photographed looking utterly drained and shaken as she left the courthouse, swarmed by paparazzi. Insiders are saying her testimony was powerful, that she flat out admitted Diddy allegedly did some truly messed up things. And here's the truly chilling part of what Dawn reportedly said. After allegedly seeing Diddy beat Cassie, the next day he came into the room and allegedly threatened her. Yes, Dawn is reportedly testifying that exactly what she talked about in her civil suit is true, that they were in a house in LA in 2009. Diddy allegedly beat Cassie because Cassie wasn't finished making his food on time. And the next day, he came into the room to talk to Dawn and her band member, and he allegedly told them, "Don't say anything. What y'all saw up there was passion." And when people say stuff about things like this about me, they end up missing. That isn't just internet speculation or rumor. That is reportedly in the court transcripts. And then there's the stark visual of Diddy's own daughter walking out of that courtroom. No arrogance, no attitude you might expect, just a blank, pale, utterly silent expression. Even the relentless paparazzi didn't dare shout questions at her. She didn't even look up. Sources claim her reaction came immediately after the alleged audio was played, which only amplifies the disturbing nature of what might have been heard inside those walls.
Yeah, so, yeah, I just want to protect her, you know? I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to, you know, go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. So, yeah, if she ever needs me, I mean, just think about how young I was and so impressionable. And you have everybody telling me how awesome I am at all times, you know, and like, yeah.
It's like taking a kid and putting a kid in a room full of nothing but sweets.
Right.
And just saying, I'll be back in 2 days.
Exactly. I just want people to understand, like, the psychology behind why I potentially could have problems in my life.
Meantime, let's talk about the fact that Combs' co-defendant in a civil case, a case, by the way, that accuses him and this co-defendant, another A-lister, of rape. This guy is once again slamming the attorney behind the case, insisting that he be sanctioned for allegedly not doing his job. We're talking, of course, about Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, once again calling out attorney Tony Busby, calling out his character, more specifically, into question, claiming that the Texas attorney's filings have, quote, substantial. Now, we've talked about this before, but basically, a civil lawsuit was filed against Sean Combs on behalf of a Jane Doe who says that she was raped by Combs and another celebrity at a home after the Video Music Awards in 2000.
The implications here are shattering and reach far beyond just legal trouble for one man. This is now about reputations built over decades, a family legacy hanging by a thread, and a deeply tangled web of alleged secrets involving some of the biggest names in entertainment. Will Smith's name being reportedly linked wasn't just a casual mention, it's allegedly directly tied to that audio. And you know the internet absolutely exploded the second that happened. The moment Will Smith's name hit the headlines in connection with the Diddy case, the online world went into a frenzy unlike anything seen before. Old clips, awkward past interviews, and podcast snippets. Suddenly, every past interaction between Will and Diddy was being dissected under a harsh, brand new light. One interview that suddenly went massively viral again was comedian Lewel casually mentioning that Diddy and Will were allegedly doing something explicit together. She said it so offhandedly in the past that most people completely missed it the first time around. This time, it detonated. The internet ran wild wild, memes were born instantly, and the speculation began to snowball out of control. But then the rabbit hole got deeper and far, far darker. Fans started revisiting old footage of Will with his son, Jaden Smith. Those seemingly affectionate kisses, the overly playful energy that once seemed like just quirky, unconventional father-son moments, were now being re-watched through a completely different, unsettling lens. People started voicing their profound discomfort, saying something felt inherently off about those interactions in hindsight. The entire tone of the online commentary shifted dramatically from amusement to genuine unease and concern. Then came what felt like the nuclear moment. Brother Bilal, Will Smith's former assistant, dropped his own set of explosive allegations that made everything even harder to dismiss as mere gossip. He claimed to have personally witnessed Will allegedly engaging in explicit acts, even graphically describing a moment where Will allegedly touched another man intimately. And that wasn't even the most shocking part of his claims. Bilal went on to say he once walked in on Will and Dwayne Martin in a compromising position. His words were specific and graphic. "I've seen sexual acts that I walked in on." When asked, "Who'd you walk in on?" he responded, "Him and Dwayne Martin." He described the scenario saying, "Hollywood is the hurry up and wait game. So I'm running all over the studio. He's not in his dressing room. Time I go to the cafeteria, I'm like, but I see his car there. So I open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having anal sex with Will. There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch and Dwayne was standing up." Those are his alleged words, not mine.
Close Enough saw his face transform. It was already too late.
13 years old, and I should mention he was signed by Usher to a label that was owned jointly by both Scooter Braun and Usher, and he was considered Usher's protege. He has been described Usher as his mentor. Justin Bieber, is continuing the purge. He has now moved to his original mentor. So this is a very big story, and the reason why we should discuss this and we should not diminish what is happening, it's not celebrity drama. This is actually the fall of Babylon that we are witnessing, Hollywood Babylon, that is. He did an interview back in 2020 with Zane Lowe. I think this was on Apple Music, and he was speaking about another young artist that was coming up, Billie Eilish, and Eilish, and he was basically speaking about how he wanted to protect her because she was now another young person, a rising artist in the industry, and sort of out of nowhere, he became quite overcome with emotion. Take a listen.
Yeah, I definitely feel protective of her. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So yeah, it's hard because I want her to know that, she can count on me, but at the end of the day, I'm never gonna force myself to be in a relationship with her. It has to be natural, right? So I just kind of, let her do her thing, and if she ever needs me, I'm gonna be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted.
I'm not even kidding. Watching that clip makes me emotional because he is saying so much without really saying anything.
After Brother Bilal dropped that bombshell about Dwayne Martin, the internet essentially transformed into a digital crime scene investigation unit working overtime. Fans weren't waiting for official media confirmation. They immediately started digging up every single clip, every photo, every old interview where Diddy and Will were seen together at events, hugging, laughing, standing close like best buddies. The visual evidence started piling up at an astonishing rate, directly contradicting the image Will had always meticulously cultivated. Then Will attempted to shut it all down with a firm denial. His quoted response was, "I ain't nowhere near that man. I did none of that." Except that his denial seemed to backfire spectacularly and instantly. The very moment he said it, Twitter and Reddit were absolutely flooded with digital receipts. Photos, videos showing him and Diddy being very much near each other. Parties, clubs, award shows, casual hangouts. The visual evidence of their close association was overwhelming and easily accessible. Now people weren't just suspicious. They felt like they had been directly lied to by someone they once admired. And this is where Meek Mill gets dragged even further and harder into the spotlight. His name reportedly came up during the courtroom playback of those alleged tapes. Once that news broke, the online world went into absolute chaos surrounding Meek.
And weeks after the initial filing, Busby submitted an amended complaint naming Jay-Z as the celebrity who allegedly participated. They wanted copies of these videos for themselves. And I've talked to lawyers about this before. There's a big advantage to having the electronic video, the electronic evidence yourself, right? You don't have to always go over to the other office. You can view the materials on your own. It's a way to better prepare for your defense. And Sean Combs' lawyers argue that under the federal rules of criminal procedure, electronic data that is in the government's possession. Judge Subramanian denied the defense's motion to amend the protective order, but without prejudice, meaning this issue could be revisited. So Subramanian's order reads, quote, while the government objects to handing the videos over, they provide several options for a defendant to consider that would permit the defense to view the videos, access the information they're looking for, and even allow them to manipulate the video.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So if she ever needs me, I'm gonna be here for her, but yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters, and I just want to protect her, I don't want her to go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. Yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
Do you realize how important your story is? Every time I have a conversation with someone who's been through this unique type of experience, I'm searching for some kind of truth that can help.
I commend you for going there and asking the tough questions and the things that people don't want to talk about, and they don't want to go there because it's revealing, and I want people to take a look at my story, and hopefully my words can make a difference.
Unlike Will, who at least attempted a calm, albeit ultimately ineffective denial, Meek reportedly went into full meltdown mode online. His Twitter feed allegedly became a non-stop barrage of defensive, sometimes erratic posts, and honestly, for many watching, the more he tweeted, the more convinced people became that something was definitely amiss and that he was panicking. The thing is, Meek's name has been linked to Diddy's in online jokes and speculation for years. Fans have often joked about their dynamic, sometimes giving Meek nicknames like Diddy's intern, pocket puppet, and much darker, unrepeatable things that hinted at a disturbing power dynamic. At the time, most people completely dismissed it as just cruel internet trolling or conspiracy theories. But now, those old jokes are being unearthed and re-examined with serious intent, as if they were pieces of a puzzle finally clicking into place, suggesting people saw something years ago that they couldn't quite articulate. And yeah, the internet dug up receipts on Meek too, adding fuel to the fire. One viral video showed him at a party with billionaire Michael Rubin, acting almost childlike and awkwardly fidgety. People pointed out how uncomfortable he seemed, like he was trying desperately to laugh something off, but the energy felt completely wrong, forced. A voice in the background can even be heard laughing and seemingly taunting him, adding to the unsettling atmosphere of the clip. Then there's the infamous clip of Diddy throwing Meek a birthday party. Seems normal at first glance, celebrating a friend, until you notice it's filled with shirtless men by the pool, and then Diddy calls Meek daddy on camera, saying things like, proud of you, I love you, I appreciate life, daddy. The internet absolutely did not let that one slide. Every time Meek posted something, trying to project a tough image or deny the rumors, fans would just throw that daddy clip right back at him relentlessly. Daddy became an instant, inescapable meme linked to him, and when he went on a rant declaring, I'm not fruity, stop playing with me, the replies were just a flood of screenshots, old tweets, and videos of him looking undeniably cozy with Diddy, creating an overwhelming visual contradiction to his words. But what's truly got people hooked, what's fueling this relentless online investigation and insatiable curiosity, is the enigma of the actual audio itself. So far, despite the legal proceedings being public in theory, not a single second of it has reportedly leaked. No shaky cell phone recording, no whispered snippet, not even a blurry still image allegedly taken from the courtroom during playback. just the secondhand accounts, the hushed summaries from those reportedly inside the courtroom walls. And that very silence is what makes it so deafening, so incredibly unsettling to those outside. Everyone's hearing how explosive it is, how graphic, how potentially career-ending, but no one outside those courtroom walls has actually heard it for themselves. One insider described the audio as allegedly capturing a man being assaulted while Diddy laughed in the background. That's the level of profoundly disturbing detail being whispered and reported from inside. There was even a fleeting, quickly debunked rumor online claiming someone had a recording of Meek and Diddy in an intimate act. Whether that rumor had any basis in reality or was just someone desperately chasing clout by linking themselves to the unfolding scandal is highly debatable, but the fact that it even gained traction at all shows the fever pitch of speculation surrounding this case and the intense desire for the actual audio. And the fact that the authorities haven't released anything publicly despite the legal proceedings being in court is only amplifying the suspicion and fueling even wilder theories. Because here's the core of the issue. In the US legal system, especially in criminal proceedings, you don't typically just hide crucial alleged evidence like this unless there's a damn good, often legally mandated reason. Journalists covering the case have already started asking the tough, pointed questions. If this audio is allegedly so crucial, so damning, so central to the claims being made, why is it locked away behind closed doors? Why can't the public hear what's potentially being used as key evidence? In a system that supposedly values transparency and public access to court proceedings, this silence feels heavy, deliberate, and loaded with unspoken implications. Some argue it's about protecting the identities or the dignity of those allegedly involved or victims mentioned, which sounds reasonable and protective on the surface. Others whisper a much darker possibility, that it's because the audio is simply too explosive to release, that it implicates too many powerful, famous names, that there's too much influence and power behind the scenes that someone is actively trying to shield from public view. If this stuff ever truly leaks, and history suggests that kind of explosive information is almost impossible to contain forever, it might not just ruin individual reputations, it could obliterate entire careers, shatter lucrative global deals worth billions, spark a barrage of devastating lawsuits from every direction, and potentially even drag in individuals who haven't even been named yet in the public sphere. And that's the truly terrifying part of this potential unraveling. If Diddy, Will Smith, and Meek Mill are just the visible tip of this alleged iceberg, who else, how many others, are caught in this potentially devastating undertow that lies beneath the surface? As wild and captivating as the celebrity name-dropping and the alleged shocking acts sound, the most profoundly disturbing and compelling aspect of this entire saga right now is the very silence surrounding the alleged tapes. We live in an age where nothing truly stays secret for long. iCloud hacks expose private data, court documents are leaked seemingly constantly, and even sensitive courtroom audio recordings almost always find their way onto the internet eventually through various means. But this time, with these specific alleged Diddy tapes, not a single sliver has reportedly surfaced. Not a clip, not a whisper, not even a clear screenshot or transcript summary beyond the generalized accounts from those inside. That silence screams volumes louder than any leak could right now, and it's got people asking one central crucial question that hangs heavy in the air. Who is protecting this? And that question alone has cracked open a whole new layer of intense speculation that goes beyond the initial allegations. Because let's be absolutely honest, this trial stopped being solely about Diddy and Cassie weeks ago. This is unearthing a potential network, a deeply ingrained alleged culture operating behind the gilded gates of fame, fortune, and influence. Something that might have been happening for years, decades even, unchecked and hidden from public view. And the only reason it's even seeing the light of day now is because of the relentless pressure from federal investigations, and because the alleged survivors and insiders reportedly finally feel a semblance of safety and legal protection in speaking out after years of alleged silence. We are witnessing the very public, very messy unraveling of someone who has been an absolute fixture in the spotlight for decades. Someone who once seemed completely untouchable, almost above the law, controlling their narrative with an iron grip. But Diddy was more than just a music mogul and a brand builder. He was woven into the very fabric of hip-hop culture, television, fashion, and broader American entertainment culture. He carefully cultivated that bad boy for life image. The extravagant parties, the political activism with vote or die, the billionaire friendships, the image of success and power. But now, all of that carefully constructed facade is reportedly crumbling in real time under the weight of these allegations and legal proceedings. What's truly unsettling about this unfolding drama is how many people are now looking back at the past years and saying with chilling certainty, we should have seen this coming, because in hindsight the alleged red flags were reportedly always there if you knew where to look or were willing to listen. From his reported intense control over his artists' careers and personal lives to those bizarre, sometimes uncomfortable interviews where he'd insert a long, deliberate pause after almost every sentence, as if he were half joking, half hiding something dark beneath the surface, or how so many artists who left Bad Boy seem to end up damaged, creatively stifled, or simply disappeared from the public eye and music industry altogether. Mace, the LOX, Danity Kane, Day 26, the list goes on and on of artists who seem to have tumultuous relationships with the label head. Aubrey O'Day, famously from Danity Kane, has been reportedly trying to sound the alarm about her experiences for years, openly discussing alleged mistreatment and disturbing behavior, and it seems like the Courtroom finally is listening, even if the wider public often dismissed her claims or labeled her difficult at the time. And Dawn Richards' reported testimony, coming from someone who was allegedly there and saw things firsthand, adds significant weight and corroboration to the idea that Diddy wasn't just difficult or demanding. He was allegedly controlling, manipulative, and potentially predatory in ways nobody fully understood until now. Her corroboration of Cassie's account under oath in a legal setting is a powerful, potentially devastating blow to Diddy's defense and public image. And the emotional, reputational fallout isn't just hitting Diddy. Will Smith's already fragile reputation, still reeling from the public backlash and consequences of the infamous Oscar slap incident, is now on even shakier, perhaps irreparable ground. People who defended him during that controversy, who argued for second chances, are now questioning his character and past associations even more deeply and critically. Because if those alleged audio tapes are real, and if he is indeed on them, this isn't just another public relations nightmare for him. It could very well be career-ending in a way the slap never was, potentially leading to legal consequences or simply a complete collapse of public trust and marketability. As for Meek Mill, the internet has practically declared him guilty in the court of public opinion, regardless of the legal facts. He hasn't been charged with anything in connection with the tapes or the Diddy allegations, but his frantic, defensive online behavior, those posts desperately saying, "Y'all trying to ruin me," only fuel the widespread suspicion and convince many watching that he has something significant to hide or is deeply involved. And that's the brutal reality of the digital age we live in. Once your name is indelibly linked to something this dark and serious online, legal innocence might not matter to the public. The perception battle is often already lost beyond recovery. And yet, amidst all this public frenzy and speculation, the silence from official channels persists. There's no clear statement explaining the delay or refusal to release the alleged tapes publicly. No official acknowledgement of their existence beyond the leaked summaries and reports from inside the courtroom. This only strengthens the theories circulating online, that these tapes are simply too volatile to touch, that the individuals allegedly on them wield too much influence and power for the information to be released easily, that maybe they're tied to unseen power structures or influential figures, or perhaps the government itself is navigating a complex, treacherous political landscape, hesitant to fully unleash the potential social and economic fallout that releasing such material could cause across multiple industries. So, we're currently left in this strange, unsettling limbo. The legal proceedings continue, reportedly behind partially closed doors when it comes to the most explosive evidence. The internet relentlessly digs for any scrap of information, dissecting old photos and videos for hidden clues. And the individuals allegedly involved publicly carry on as if nothing is truly amiss, issuing denials that are often immediately contradicted by easily searchable public records. But that can't possibly last forever. This isn't a story that will simply fade away because the internet has an exceptionally long memory, and in the age of information, it has an even longer, more persistent reach. And when people feel like the truth is being deliberately concealed from them, their determination to uncover it only intensifies exponentially. If these alleged tapes ever do surface, if the full truth behind the courtroom whispers ever comes out, it could very well shake the very foundations of Hollywood's elite circles and the entertainment industry at large. Not just because of what Diddy allegedly did, but because of who else might have been in that room, who else might have known, and who might have allegedly participated or enabled it. The velvet curtain shielding the upper echelons of fame and power is slowly, painfully being drawn back, and what lies behind it might be far, far more disturbing and widespread than anyone could have possibly imagined when this all began. We'll definitely be keeping a close, unblinking watch on how this absolutely unprecedented saga unfolds.